Now notice the little dent in that one right there? That's because these eggs are about the size of a cue ball, and they're soft and leathery, so when they drop down in the nest, they don't break. It's not like a chicken egg. They also don't contain the air sac like a chicken egg. The embryo has to breathe through the shell. So within that first 24 hours of being planted in the ground, that embryo migrates to the top of the shell and anchors there, and then it has to breathe through the shell. So you can't move a sea turtle egg after 24 hours or the embryo will dislodge and die. So we leave them there once they're in the ground, and they're going to have to take care of themselves. One of the interesting things we found with leatherbacks is that they lay something called yolkless eggs, or what we call yolkless eggs. They're smaller eggs, anywhere from pea size up to about ping pong ball size, and they contain almost no yolk, and they contain no embryo. They're just a little white egg. In fact, if you put them on the end of a flashlight, they're as clear as can be, because all they have is the white of the egg in them, the albumin. This albumin doesn't have any nutritional value for them, but we think they do serve a purpose, and they're the only species that lays this yolkless egg. And that's, yeah. That was yolk. Is it yolkless? Yolkless. There's a misspelling around the previous. Oh yeah? Oh, good. Thank you. A typo. Oh no. Anyway, they contain no yolk. Okay. The reason for those probably have something to do with incubation, and particularly leatherback incubation. The hatchlings stay down, or the eggs stay down here for about 2 months, 60 to 70 days. And when they emerge from the egg, the cavity tends to collapse. The volume collapses down. And what happens is the hatchlings are then free to move around down inside here because the sand stays firm above them. And so this sand core will stay here, and they're moving around. Well, most sea turtles, that's plenty of space. Those little hatchlings down there. They've got relatively short flippers, they can move around, they want to stay down there for about a week, and then they'll start tunneling to the surface. Well, leatherback hatchlings are like German Shepherd puppies. Their front flippers are so long and they're so oversized for that nest cavity that they need a little extra space. So probably what those yolkless eggs do is they dry out during the course of the incubation. By the time it's time to come out of the nest, there's a lot more space down at the bottom of the nest cavity for them. So these little guys have a space to move around. Now what they're doing actually while they're moving around is they're pulling their yolk sac inside. And when a little hatchling comes out of the egg, all curled over like this, a little egg tube slits a hole in the side, and it has a big yolk sac right here. That's its food source for the next few weeks. So pull that yolk sac in, it'll straighten up. And if you open a hatchling at this age, it'll be 3/4 full of yolk, just all internalized. They'll tunnel to the surface. If it's cool, they'll emerge immediately. But if it's not cool, if it's hot, they wait till the sand temperature cools down, and that's the cue for the hatchling to come out of the nest. It says, aha, now it's going to be cooler on the beach, it's going to be safer on the beach because there are less predators when it's cool. Most of the time it's dark, not always, most of the time it's dark. And they'll all come boiling out together as a group, and they'll crawl to the sea, and they'll disappear offshore. And we don't see them again. In the case of leatherbacks, we don't see them again until they're almost adult size. One of the great mysteries of leatherback sea turtle biology. Meanwhile, stepping back, the female has laid those eggs. She camouflages the nest site. She'll take 45 minutes to do this, and when she's done, this beach looks like somebody's had a bulldozer on it. These are big turtles, and I'll get into that in a minute. They're big, big turtles. This turtle weighs almost 1,200 pounds. Her flipper span is about 9 feet. So you don't get a perspective on this picture, but you will later. They're big, big creatures, and they can't disguise the fact that they've been up on the nesting beach. So instead what they do is they say, well, I got to hide a needle in a haystack. The bigger the haystack, the harder it's going to be to find the needle. So what she does is she creates a big disturbed area, and that nest is somewhere in there. And predators have a very difficult time finding it because of the size of the disturbed area. She'll go back to sea, and she'll come back and nest in 10 days. Now remember I said that they nest only every 2 or 3 years. Sometimes this is often as little as every 7 years. Depends on how well they do feeding in the in-between time. Can they put on enough body weight and body fat to come back and nest again? So during a single season, 6 to 7 nests, and then every 2 or 3 years she'll nest. So females don't return to tropical beaches every year to nest. One of the things we discovered in our nesting beach work was that leatherbacks frequently lay their nests in lousy locations, what we would call lousy locations. Locations where they easily wash out due to erosion and erosive forces. The reason for that is that leatherbacks are very big and cumbersome. And they don't want to come up onto beaches where there's a rock or reef or any kind of a barrier offshore that will damage them as they come in. So they come into these what we call high energy beaches, these beaches with lots of waves and storms and all, which are very high energy. These kind of beaches have big swells that come in and take the beach away. Well, they take the beach away, they take the eggs away. Subsequently, leatherbacks lay twice as many nests as any other species of turtle. And in fact, they're so good at placing their nests that they actually will scatter them up and down the beach face. One of the things that a turtle is faced with is she puts this nest up here on the beach. She doesn't know what those beach conditions are going to be like for the next 2 months. She has no way to predict how stable that beach is going to be or if a storm is going to take it out. So, one of the things they do is these are individual females here. Each of these lines and each of these dots are where they lay their nests in a distance from the high water mark. And what you can see is sometimes they lay them way up, sometimes they lay them very close to the water, sometimes they lay them almost in the water. They'll lay them down very, very close to the edge of the beach. And the reason, again, is because they nest in these beaches that come and go at very irregular timing intervals. And so what they're trying to do is this beach may build out. And if it does, this nest, the hatchlings don't have to crawl so far. If they put them up here, and the beach builds out, the hatchlings have got to go a lot further across the sand, and they're more subject to predation. So they have to scatter. It's what we call scatter nesting hypothesis, or scatter nesting theory. And basically what it says is there's no one place any safer than the other, so your best strategy in those kinds of things is to spread the risk around. Lay your nests in a lot more places, a lot further up the beach. It would seem logical to us to always put them up by the tree line or where our highest point on the beach, but if the beach builds out, these guys are in trouble. So again, they've developed a strategy for nesting all over a beach. But here's where the real fun discovery stuff comes in with leatherbacks. And this started on the nesting beaches, but it's really what's happening out here. Turtles spend 99.999% of their time at sea. They don't spend a lot of time on beaches. Remember, it's only the females that come on the beaches, and they only come on there every few years after they're mature, and they'll do this for maybe 30 years. But the rest of the time is at sea. So that's the keystone to understanding this creature, is understanding what's going on in the water. Where do they go? What do they do? How do they do it? Why are they disappearing? The approach that I took, again, this is getting back into the early 80s, and it's something that I pioneered. Nobody's been able to do this with leatherbacks before, but it's the same thing as the aliens. Remember I talked about aliens in maternity work? I like working with aliens. They're good for us. We're the aliens. What this says is hours later, when they finally came to, Hal and Ruby groggily returned to their yardwork, unknowingly wearing the radio collars and ear tags of alien biologists. Every scientist has to have a Gary Larson cartoon in their required. Anyway, Larson hit it right on the money. This is the same thing that we decided to do with leatherbacks. Now, leatherbacks are very tough to do this because their shells are very fragile, very soft, and very skin-covered, and you can't put anything that you normally want to glue or screw something to them. So we had to develop a special harness that fits on them that will carry instruments. This particular instrument is called a time depth recorder. Now, it's been developed by marine mammal ecologists, and actually, I'm a big fan of hybridizing research fields. So I work a lot with marine mammal biologists. I spent 2 years in the Antarctic working on penguins and seals, because that cross-fertilization, we teach each other things. I can teach them things about how to work with turtles that they can apply to the birds and vice versa. Jerry Quinlan is a marine mammal and marine penguin biologist. You guys, everybody here seen March of the Penguins?
Yes.
Anybody seen the DVD with the special features at the end?
No.
Check it out sometime. The guy that they feature on there is this guy right here, Jerry Quinlan, and his colleague Paul Ponganis. And Jerry was my mentor in the world of diving physiology. I spent my postdoc with him in Scripps. But he took me to the Antarctic twice to see emperors, which is about the best thing you can ever do. Anyway, one of the things we discovered by putting these dive recorders on turtles is that leatherbacks are incredible divers. We never anticipated this. This is 1,200 meters, so this turtle is diving more than 4,000 feet deep. And this is its dive pattern. It shows the vertical patterns, staying down for about 15 minutes, coming back up. These are in meters, so if you want to get this to feet, multiply it by 3. So there's, 600 feet, 900 feet, et cetera, et cetera. this